Good evening. I'd like to call the special meeting of Peace River Town Council to order at 5 p.m. on April 7th. So we've got the agenda in front of us. Are there any changes to this agenda?
Nothing, your worship, please.
Thank you. And would someone please move forward with the motion? Right.
Move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Okay. Everybody's clear on that motion? All those in favor?
In favor.
Chuck is there too. Okay. Yes. Okay, we have a public hearing, and this is on bylaw number 2172, land use bylaw number 1891, an amendment which redistricts plan 9221058 block 1 lot 18 and plan 112185-7 from M1 to C2. And Ms. Modi, people in order here. So I would like someone to move that the council open the public hearing on the matter of, read it all.
I move that council open the public hearing with respect to bylaw number 2172, land use bylaw number 1891 amendment, which redistricts plan 9221058 block 1 lot 18 and plan 1121857 from M1 to C2 at 7 p.m.
5:01 p.m. So do we need to approve that motion? Yes, okay. All those in favor of that motion?
In favor.
Okay, I hereby declare the statutory public hearing open at 5:02 p.m. and note that this hearing is held pursuant to section 78606 and 692 of the Municipal Government Act. So I request Ms. Modi, the Manager of Planning and Development, to confirm the purpose of the public hearing.
Evening. It's to redistrict 8002 102nd Ave and 7910 102nd Ave from the Light Industrial District to the Highway Commercial District.
Thank you. And can you tell us when the public hearing notice was advertised and where?
The notice was advertised on the town's website beginning on March 26th, posted on the town's Facebook page on the 26th, April 2nd, and April 7th. Posted on the town bulletin board on March 26th and mailed directly to the property owner and adjacent property owners on March 21st.
Thank you. Are there any written submissions received and not included in the public hearing agenda package that need to be read into the record?
There are none.
Okay, thank you. So I ask that all persons giving oral presentations are to clearly state their name, and the presentations are to be brief and to the point. So I'll now call on the development officer to proceed.
Thank you. So as we have said, this bylaw redistricts two properties from the industrial district to the highway commercial district. Those properties are highlighted in figure 1 on the public hearing report. Both properties have existing buildings with existing commercial units or industrial units in this case. And there are also some existing businesses, including an accounting office, funeral services, an industrial office and warehouse, and warehouse and distribution sales. The properties are currently on the edge or the border of what is currently the breakpoint between our industrial and commercial districts. So this would be adjusting that and just moving the property or the commercial district line a bit. On page 3 of the public hearing report, we have provided a table that shows the differences in the permitted and discretionary uses in our current C2 and M1 districts for council's information. The primary purpose in this case is to facilitate a retail store as a listed use within the area. And that is allowed as a permitted use in the C2 district, but it's not listed in the industrial district. So the purpose of the C2 district is to establish a land use district for a regional shopping center, developments intended to serve the total community and the regional trade area. Redistricting these sites will increase the availability of commercial lands and units on the West Hill, where there is a limited supply of commercial units, especially with a smaller square footage. The change will also allow for more commercial units as was listed on the previous page. So we have not received any additional feedback, and it is our recommendation that council close the public hearing this evening and provide second and third reading so that we may proceed with the development application.
Thank you. Councilors, do you have any questions to clarify at this point?
Maybe, I do.
Councilor Carr?
So all the owners were contacted and they're all in approval of this?
Yes, we've received written approval from both owners.
Any other questions at this point? Okay, I will now call on those in favor of the bylaw to come forth if they wish to speak. Seeing none, I will now call on those opposed to the bylaw to come forward if they wish to. None. Now call on any person deemed to be affected who wishes to be heard to come forward. Okay, councilors, any further questions? So any concluding statements you'd like to make, Ms. Modi? Okay, okay, seeing that all presentations have been made, I will now ask for a motion to close the hearing. Nope, apparently I can close the hearing myself this time. Okay, the hearing is now closed. So next up on our agenda, we have this same matter, and we're looking at bylaw and whether or not we want to proceed. So Ms. Modi, through.
Thank you. So the bylaw is presented for second and potentially third reading. Council's options this evening are to provide second and third reading, which would facilitate a current potential retail development on the West Hill. Also facilitates future commercial developments on both subject sites and provides more commercial units for development on the West Hill, as well as lowering the supply of empty industrial units. We don't see any disadvantages or financial implications. Option 2 would be to provide only second reading this evening. This would continue to facilitate future commercial developments at both sites, but it does delay bylaw adoption and the current potential retail development on the West Hill. And the last option is to defeat the bylaw, which maintains the existing districting and does not allow for the current proposed development. So it's our recommendation that council proceed with second and third reading as amended. You will see attached, we do have a red line version, just a couple of small changes to the bylaw, removing the definition section, which was not necessary for this, nothing of substantive change. We had previously spoken about the change to the plan number reference on the property when the bylaw received first reading.
Thank you. So councilors, do you have any further questions at this point in time? Someone like to move us forward perhaps with second reading? Councilor Good?
I'll move second reading as amended to bylaw number 2172, which amends land use bylaw number 1891 by redistricting plan 9221058 block 1 lot 18 and plan 1121857 from light industrial M1 to highway commercial district C2.
Thank you. I should mention that we had first reading at a different meeting, so we had a little bit of a discussion there, so that's perhaps why we seem to be moving along a fairly good clip here. So thank you, Mr. Good. Does anybody have any further questions of clarity at this point? Okay, everybody understands the motion? Somebody's baby's crying. So all those in favor of the motion?
In favor.
Thank you. Would someone perhaps move us along to third reading? Mr. Sharon?
Move that council give third reading to bylaw number 2172, which amends land use bylaw number 1891 by redistricting plan 9221058 block 1 lot 18 and plan 1121857 from light industrial district M1 to highway commercial district C2.
Thank you. Any further questions? All those in favor of the reading or the motion?
In favor.
It is carried. Thank you. And we'll get Mr. Scamahorn back in. And Ms. Modi, if you would like to continue with the next item on our agenda, which is new business, Northern Sunrise County referral, feedback on the new Northern Sunrise land use bylaw.
The county has referred their new land use bylaw to the town, as is required by our intermunicipal development plan. It is an overhaul of their land use bylaw, so there are changes throughout, but we have concentrated our evaluation on the areas that might affect the town. So the districts that are applied to the land that is within the IDP plan area between the town and the county. And you can see the IDP plan area on figure 1 on page 2. It highlights all the lands that are in color, both within the town and the county. That is the IDP plan area. And then figure 2 shows the land use districts of the county map. So there are 6 districts that are within the IDP plan area of the county. And when through the IDP, when development permits are contemplated, a discretionary use or a variance application will come to the town for comment if it's within the IDP plan area and vice versa. If it's a permitted use, then that does not come to the town for comment. So we have seen some changes. Some additional uses have been added to the districts of the land use bylaw for the county. In particular, on page 3, table 1 shows some of the notable additional uses that have been added to these land use districts. And within the RM district, which is an industrial district of the county, they have added both industrial heavy manufacturing and processing and industrial light manufacturing and processing. And the industrial heavy manufacturing and processing as a permitted use is of a concern to us, specifically because that use doesn't include any specific use regulations in the land use bylaw, and its broad definition, which is attached. There's all of the substantive definitions have been attached here for council, but that definition in particular does state that that the use may include negative effects outside of the boundaries of the site. And by making that a permitted use, the county would only have the authority to impose conditions to the extent required to be in compliance with the site regulations of the district and the bylaw, which is quite minimal, and doesn't leave a lot of scope for conditions that might deal with those harmful effects that might go beyond the site. The county would have little authority to deny or approve a development with conditions intended to mitigate the negative effects. And as a permitted use, the town wouldn't receive the application for an opportunity for us to comment. So for those reasons, we would consider that particular change of concern. Also of note, the updated bylaw does include new uses that allow for a significant expansion of what may be developed in the IDP plan area, specifically within the Sunrise Gateway part, but also within the agricultural lands. So if you look at the list within the table, within the Sunrise Gateway District, they have some new very broad definitions for amusement facility, arts and culture, personal service, and as well within the Ag District, some of those uses, as well as health service facility. So those uses substantially increase the variety of developments that may be allowed, and that may directly compete with services available in town. As those commercial lands are developed. I will note that a very limited number of lands right now within the county are developed on the commercial side. They do have developed industrial lands where there are units that could be occupied by new business, but not many vacant buildings within the commercial areas. So as I've said, the policies of the IDP do provide a little bit of direction to the town and the county, but none of the policies directly conflict with those changes that they're making. So it doesn't inherently fly in the face of the planning framework that we've mutually put into place. So we have options before council. We've provided a draft letter in response for council's consideration. And in that letter, It refers to that initial concern regarding the industrial heavy manufacturing and processing use. And then provides an optional comment related to the additional commercial uses in the county, should council want to bring the county's attention to that. On the flip side, if council wants to acknowledge that the county is making a strategic move on their part and those uses are commercial in nature and they could fit within a commercial area, then we don't need to include that. So that's up to the council's decision. So a couple of options before you this evening. To provide the attached comments that ensures that the county is aware of potential impacts of their changes to their land use bylaw on the town. From a financial perspective, the direct competition between the town and the county for commercial development may shift development patterns out of town, which may undermine our concentration of services in our community and the tax base associated with them. The council may provide alternate direction to the feedback that we would provide to the county. Or alternatively, council may direct administration to tell the county that we don't have any concerns related to their land use bylaw. It would be our recommendation that council direct administration to provide the letter as presented, with the option related to the commercials. We do need a decision one way or the other on that from council this evening. Take any questions?
Thank you. Councilors? Councilor Good?
I'd like to see the optional addition added, specifically, along with the others. And the reason for that is, well, it may sound like being a bad neighbor, to a degree, put any limitations on any other municipality or to even open up the discussions. I remember quite well historically what occurred with the industrial park on the east. So when the development in Peace River, MG22 and MD of Peace, for a lot of that development was by market forces alone, nothing else being interfered with, was heading out up Whittle Road, out toward the MD of Peace, and those developments were sort of in place to go. And after the Northern Sandwich County put in the new industrial development top of the East Hill, enticed a lot of people to move up there, that the market itself would not have delivered. And when you have access to incredible amounts of industrial wealth in your municipality where you can do things because you can afford to, when the other communities around you don't have that same kind of access. And I've spoken about this for years, so I'm not speaking out of turn. I don't like to see the market distorted that abruptly just because you have access to a deep pocket. So I'd like to have these in here so that it be considered more on a regional basis than on a, we have the money, therefore we can do it basis.
Thank you. Councilor Scanlon?
Is there specifically wording in the IDP that references the goals and objectives part at the end of the optional, that second smaller paragraph, remain aligned with goals and objectives of the IDP, like that speaks to keeping those types of developments within the town?
Not specifically. So the goals and objectives of the IDP that are pertinent here, they are provided earlier in the report.
Okay.
And there's nothing that directly precludes the addition of these uses in this area, which is why this is optional for council's consideration, but not part of the recommendation, because there's nothing in the planning framework that says no.
I recall earlier conversations we had in the last term around the airport and making sure that we were directing the appropriate type of development to the airport because that is where it is most appropriate, and also would support the development and the sustainability of the airport. So for example, you know, helicopter outfits or that kind of thing. And so I see this also being kind of very similar to that line of thinking where it's like we should be supporting the development to occur where it can support more of it, as opposed to spreading it out thinly, you know, kind of thing. So I'm happy to have that in there as well. I think it includes that line of logic that we've been trying to follow as a region.
Thank you, Councillor Shannon.
So, where it says an area and may directly compete with services available in town, so you're talking that, there might be competition between the two, if, that isn't a bad thing though, so I'm not really, like, I would prefer to not have the optional in there, on the first letter anyway, I don't really see a competition as being a bad thing, or if they wanna, if they have to duplicate or have something up there that was in town, we're a region, so what's good for them is good for us, what's good for us is good for them. I don't quite see it, I guess, the same way, but so my preference wouldn't be to have it in there, but because I think, yeah, it's just my feeling. I don't see where the conflict would be.
Councillor Carr or Councillor, Deputy Mayor Boychuk, any comments, questions? Okay,
No, I'm good right now.
okay, so, if these, new permitted uses are added, really, we have no say in what happens. They'll bring it to us, it's in the IDP, but
No, and I'm sorry, I will highlight that, the majority of the uses that we're talking about, when we're talking about the competition side of things, they are added as discretionary uses, so they would still come forward to the town, for comment. It's really the changing of industrial, the heavy manufacturing to permitted that is of definite concern. I think that the addition of those additional uses is more of a strategic choice, and that's why that is not provided with a specific recommendation, but an option for council to consider, because it is a strategic bit of feedback.
thank you. Any further comments? Okay, I kind of like the letter, the way the letter is written with the, what is in it as well. But we could perhaps have someone, move us along with the motion. Councilor Good,
I'll move that we send the letter as written with the optional update included, 2 paragraphs to the optional update.
thank you. Any further comments, discussion?
Could I just hear the optional part again or get it rewritten back, just so I'm clear on it?
So do you have the agenda in front of you? No?
Yes, I do. I just thought Don threw in some options himself there. That's what he was talking about.
So if you look at the letter, that was drafted, there's, the last,
Okay, yeah, I read that part. I'm sorry. I just misunderstood Don. I thought he was adding something to the motion. That's all.
no, it's my understanding he's including those in the motion.
Yes.
Okay, everybody's clear on the motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
In favor.
Opposed? It is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Modi. Thank you. Okay, now next, we have an item which is in closed session. So. This is going to be,
Lots of chairs in the hall.
Is there a method or a process? Is there a process
so
that we could,
Councillor Good,
is there a process that we could table this meeting until, this part of the meeting until after? I know it's part of the special meeting, so if we could table the special meeting and to bring it up again
We
after the
recess.
regular meeting?
I believe we need to recess.
I would do a motion for recess.
Recess the meeting and then reopen it.
Then I'll move to recess the meeting until after the regular meeting. That way we won't be inconveniencing the people that are here.
are we voting on recessed item? Do we have to vote on this one?
Yes.
We do. Okay, the motion is to recess the special meeting and, any further discussion on that one? Everybody's clear on what the motion means? All those in favor?
In favor.
It is carried. Okay, so we're recessing at 5:24. Okay. give everyone a minute to reorganize to get the public regular or the GMP meeting. Very good.
We'll just leave it.
Okay. Okay, so Councillor Boychuk is okay on this one as well then?
Yeah, so we can check out. Thanks.
Just need to. Okay. So, welcome everyone again. We're now at I'm calling to order the Governance and Priorities Committee meeting of Monday, April 7th to order at 5:26. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would someone please move the agenda forward? Councillor Shannon,
I'll move that the council adopt the April 7th, 2025 Governance and Priorities Meeting Agenda as presented.
thank you. All those in favor?
In favor.
It is carried. Thank you. Okay, we have the minutes of March 3rd, Governance and Priorities Committee meeting. You've had a chance to review those, or are there any edits to those?
I'll move that council adopt the minutes of the March 3rd, 2025 Governance and Priorities Committee meeting as presented.
Thank you. All those in favor of that motion?
In favor.
It is carried. Comments from the public? Apparently, we are good to go on presentations then. So the first presentation we have is from the Peace River Municipal Library. And the library manager, Sarah Lawrence, I believe is here. So if you just come up and press the button so the red light stays on, and it means your mic is active. And they've got your presentation up on the screen as well.
Thank you.
And we're actually asking that the presentations do respect the audience. We have about 9 presentations tonight, so concise would be good.
I will do my best.
Thank you.
Press the button.
Do I change the slides?
On the microphone?
Kayla, is she able to do her own slides? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Good evening, members of the council. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Sarah Lawrence. I'm honored to serve as the director of the Peace River Municipal Library. Before diving into the details, I'd like to express my sincere thanks to the council for your ongoing support of our library. Your commitment in helping to foster a community that is not only strong and safe, but well connected. As highlighted in the first strategic pillar for the town of Peace River, we're building a shared vision for a brighter future. Now, let me take a moment to share some of the ways in which the Peace River Library has been enriching the lives of our residents and why it's crucial to invest in its continued success. In 2024, our library achieved several remarkable milestones, all made possible by the dedication of our staff and the unwavering support of our community. In 2024, we had over 34,000 visits to the library and loaned over 45,000 items. 5,900 computer users and 11,000 computer sessions. A session is a 30-minute computer use. We held over 400 programs and had for almost 7,000 participants. These are all increases from the last year. And from 2019 to 24, the library visitor has increased by over 12,000 people. That was an increase from 22 to 34,000. That means that each month, our incredible team greets over 2,000 visitors, answers over 500 reference questions, hosts 40 programs enjoyed by 576 community members. We check out almost 4,000 items a month and assist almost 500 people with computer access. So our library has something for everyone, from our art gallery to books, seed library, nature kits, movies, and crafts. Our library is a space that is enjoyed by everyone in the community. Our children's program continues to grow in popularity. And our preschool story time has over 500 participants just in the last year. Our kids board game club and our builders club had over 200 participants for each. This year, our summer reading club was a huge success. 24 sessions throughout the summer for 3 different age groups, our 4 to 6, our 7 to 9, and our 10 to 13. We had over 500 children enjoy this program alone. We didn't just stay in the library this summer. Our book blast program ventured out into local parks, bringing the joy of reading directly to the community. Thanks to the support from the Peace River Friends of the Library Society, we were able to gift over 300 books to children, fostering a love of reading in the community. Once again, we hosted our vibrant September Full of Culture Days events, supported by the Alberta Culture Days grant. And this grant enabled us to provide rich programming throughout the month, showcasing the diversity and creativity in our community. Going into the fall, we hosted 3 Halloween events enjoyed by over 500 children, teens, and adults for an evening of spooky fun. We were able to partner with the Weberville Revitalization Society and the Peace Library System to bring not only our haunted house, but we went virtual this year and brought in a haunted roller coaster for the Oculus Quest. Our second annual Festival of Trees was again a huge success, drawing over 600 community members who enjoyed a variety of events, starting with the open house with CBC Edmonton as part of their Out Your Way project. We had a seniors tea, family sing-along, and our grand finale, Not So Silent Night. And there was something for everyone. This fundraising event raised over $3,600 for the library. Much more. So I will conclude with this heartfelt sentiment shared with us by Rebecca Edwards-Raby and her family. I just want to share my deepest, most heartfelt thanks to every single staff member, volunteer, board member, who have so obviously invested their every effort into making our library all it is and all it has been to date. Never would I have imagined how significant one single resource would be for my family's life, and never could I imagine living without it. Thank you with all of my being for all you've done so generously, given to this community, to our family and this community. So thank you again for your continued support, and together we can ensure that the library remains a place of learning, growth, and connection for everyone in the community. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. The library is definitely a great place to be, and it's great to have it in our community. Councillor Shannon?
Can you talk about things that are coming or no? Not yet.
Absolutely. So in 2025, we've actually extended our fantasy programs from our D&D and RPG to now we do Warhammer and Magic the Gathering. And we are looking at supporting the Dolly Parton Imagination Library in this community, which would allow us to bring even more books into the community, supporting literacy. We're also hoping to expand our Library of Things, bringing more to our collection to help support the community and everything they need.
The Dolly Parton Library is with Rotary, like a community partnership. And I can see that being the same with the Library of Things. That was close to my heart because I actually had that idea from a couple of landfill conferences that we went to, and the trend is really happening all over the world actually. So that next stop is Repair Cafe, hey? Right.
Absolutely, one step at a time.
Yeah.
The Imagination Library would be in partnership with Rotary and the Friends of the Library Society.
The Friends of Library Society is quite active, you would say?
I would say so, yes. We have an upcoming casino if anybody wants to volunteer.
Well, there's always the casinos. And just on that aspect, I know that both urban municipalities and rural municipalities keep approaching the Alberta government that we would like the casino funds shared more broadly than like the cities of Edmonton. We're thinking the rural should be making that much money as well in lesser time rather than 3 years. But anyway, so hope your casino is successful. The other question? I always find it interesting when people take out library materials and they can get a little thing that tells them how much they saved from actually going and buying the material, if they could buy it someplace. So that's kind of unique and it's great.
That is correct. And I do believe our board chair, Jennifer Willix, would like to make a statement.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. So as Sarah mentioned, my name is Jen Willux and I'm the board chair of the library. So thanks for listening to our presentation. I'm so proud of what our library does. Everything from books to things to you name it, cake pans, we provide it. But I need to address a growing concern that we have. Something that our library is increasingly faced with and one I think requires your immediate attention. So as many of you are aware, the level of crime and violence in our community has escalated. The library, due to its location and the diversity of the individuals it serves, is particularly vulnerable. In the past month, we've experienced vehicle break-ins and 2 very violent altercations that required police intervention. Unfortunately, both staff and patrons have been put at risk during these incidences. Over the last year, we've also had 2 separate cases where patrons entered the library visibly carrying weapons. The presence of hard drugs on the premises has become more frequent. Despite these serious threats, the staff ability to manage these risks is severely limited, with the primary course of action being a ban on the individuals, but that does little to prevent further incidences. The library is such an essential service, and it's crucial that the town take an active role in protecting its patrons and staff. We need help ensuring the safety and well-being of those who come to the library for education, enrichment, and refuge. While our library staff has made tremendous efforts to address the safety issues, like investing in vulnerable and homelessness training, working on getting better communication skills, we can't do it alone. So I'm here today to ask the town for your support to help us mitigate this issue. Actions like installing a panic button in the library for direct contact with the RCMP or hiring a professional to help us with our emergency response plan could do lots to help us increase the safety at our site for our staff and our patrons. We know we're not the only group concerned with safety in our town, but we strongly believe the library deserves attention and resources to better protect our community members. We appreciate your commitment to Peace River. I trust that you'll take the necessary steps forward to protect the safety of our library and the community it serves. Thank you.
Thank you again for that and for highlighting your concerns. Of course, we're not too sure at this point in time what we can't do anything immediately, but at least you brought your concerns forward, and so further discussion will happen. And thank you, and thank your staff for the way you have managed, because I realize it's very stressful at times. So thank you. So next set of presentations are a series of ones dealing with grants to organizations. And first up is the Peace River Citizens on Patrol. And someone can come forward and state their name. And we ask that your presentations be concise, so perhaps 5 minutes or so.
Take you 5 minutes to sit down. Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Manzer and Council and administration for listening to us tonight. The young lady from the library certainly was very eloquent with what she presented, and that was what I was going to do as well. But because Mayor Manzer said we need to be quick, I'll bypass some of that. Citizens on Patrol is not new to Peace River, but is being revived in Peace River again now. And we're very happy with the response and the interest we have so far. We have 20 people who have done the criminal record checks and everything is done. We're basically ready to go. We're waiting for societies, which we thought would be very quick. They cashed the check very quick. But it takes 6 weeks for them to give us our approval. Even though the name was approved and everything was approved before we sent the application in, it still takes 6 weeks. So that's where we are. We applied for the grant from the town, and I would ask council to seriously consider our application. Even though it doesn't quite meet the criteria, in that we would want to use some of the funding for fuel. For the biggest expense we will have will be fuel for vehicles. We've copied Edson's program. They have the most successful one in the province. So we felt we didn't need to reinvent the wheel. And when I talked to their guy, the town of Edson 100% funds them. They don't do any fundraising, they don't do anything. All the money comes from the town of Edson. So I would hope that the town of Peace River would see it in their wisdom to help us in the same way. Again, I'm not sure if it can be, this grant can be adjusted a little bit. I'm not sure if it's how it used to be. 40 years ago, council could do whatever they wanted. I'm not sure if you guys are quite have that flexibility now. I don't think I have anything else other than to thank everyone for all of your help. Administration has been very helpful to us. Everybody's been very supportive, and we just really want to get this up and going, and we hope that you would give us some money. Does anybody have any questions?
What would be an optimum number of people that you would have actively doing the patrol?
When we started, they said we had to have a minimum of 5. We have 20. I bumped into a person a couple of days ago, and they asked if they could get involved. I think once we get going, I'd really like to maintain the 20 plus. And I think we should be able to do that. There's a lot of interest in it, and I think it's something that's very much needed within the town of Peace River. It's not that we're vigilantes. All we would be doing is seeing and reporting. So, we don't even get out of a vehicle, so that there's no point in buying vests and flashlights and all kinds of stuff, because we're not supposed to get out of the vehicle. So our basic need is fuel, and I suspect that a lot of people won't even want that, but some may, again, we should have it available.
Well, the carbon tax decrease should help that.
Well, that's right. We'll just give them 20 liters instead of 25.
There we go. Does anyone have any other questions of Mr. Gardner?
I have a comment. I really commend you for starting it up again. I do think it's going to be one of the layers that will help with our situation. It won't fix everything, but it will be one layer, another layer.
Unfortunately, we can't help the library, but maybe we can keep an eye on some of the people. So
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much, and good luck with the society's part of things as well.
Thank you.
Okay, next one, we have the Wahoo Winter Swim Club. Okay, no.
My name is Rachel Van Tamlin. I am the treasurer for the Peace River Winter Swim Club, also known as the Wahoos. We are having our 27th annual swim meet, April 12th to 13th. As per normal, we've got about 160 to 165 swimmers that'll be in attendance. Some from Grand Prairie, Yellowknife, Hay River, Grand Prairie, Edson, and this year Fort St. John's. Not sure if they're going to be able to make it. So those are kind of the areas that'll be coming into town to participate in the 2 days. And what we're looking for is essentially just the pool rent to be covered for that time frame, which we estimate would probably be around $2,100. That is what we're looking for. Any questions?
That was very concise. Counselors, any questions?
So all the parents come, like what ages are they?
Their ages, I think the youngest is 6
Okay, so
and the
then-
oldest is 17.
So you'll have a lot of parents and
Yeah.
additional family members come to
Lots of
spend their
families.
money in our town. That's
That's
great.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Doesn't look like it, so thank you, Ms. Tamlin, and good luck with the meet. Next up, Peace River Road Around.
I'm not sure we can be quite as quick as Rachel, but we'll try.
You just want to say your names into the record, that's good.
I'm Louise McDonald, the president of the Rotaract Club.
I'm Connor Fitchie, Vice President.
And we're here to present about Rotaract River Days. We're coming back this summer. The dates have changed to stay in conjunction with the jet boat races, which is they're hosting the Worlds this year. It's gonna be a pretty big event. We're still planning that on June 20th to 22nd. 3-day event. Day one being on Friday, we're going to open with a flag parade, Harvard show, mechanical bull riding. Am I able to click to make this? Okay, there we go. Beer gardens, our block party again, art hub exhibit, vendors, karaoke contest, everything that we kind of had going last year, we want to have again.
Yeah, a bigger first day with the parade with Felix there. Our second day, the Saturday was kind of the family part of it, right? The Fridays are aimed a bit more at adults. Saturday, we're gonna, obviously the jet boat races will be there. We've got live music. We're gonna try to step up our music on the Saturday. We've got more bouncy castles than we had last year. We are adding what we're calling the Riverfront Fun Fair. Gotta practice that one apparently. And it's a penny carnival that we're trying to do with businesses in town. Like ring toss and those sorts of old carnival games, just to have businesses come out, put it on, little prizes for the kids, and just to have it be a free part of the event. Mads Landing Market again, bouncy castles I mentioned. Jet Boat Association will be doing mining for money again, and we've got a face painter this year. So that's part of our grant request.
And then Sunday, we'll wrap it all up with more jet boat races, our pancakes breakfast, princess picnic and sing along, which was magical last year. Superhero showdown, and we're gonna maybe try and fly kites. We'll see how the weather is and yeah. And then when we have made a change for the Man's Landing Market, it won't be on Man's Landing. We're still calling it Man's Landing. We just want it to be in a more accessible location for everyone that comes.
Yeah, so like, we're gonna try to push more stuff into the park. I don't know if everybody was there last year to see it, but Riverfront's big. There's a lot of room. So we're gonna put some more bouncy castles, but we're also gonna try to put the market into the park.
And the fun fair.
Yeah, and the fair in the park. And then to make the parking lot that kind of goes to the boat launch that's over there, the viewing area, make that our handicap or accessible parking, and then have vendors and food trucks also on the road. Kind of condense it a bit, even though it's gonna be a bigger event. And that's really it. Bigger and better than last year, but great all again. Is there any questions?
I'm hoping that the weather's going to cooperate like it did last year. So basically, the change in time was due to the jet boat organization saying that was when it was in Peace River, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Felix will get to you on that one, of course, but it's bigger this year.
Yeah.
They're hosting the opening ceremonies, and it's awesome if we can partner these two events, run them in conjunction. I think Felix brings a lot of the people to town on Saturday, and then I think our event helps keep them there.
Yeah.
So
I was just made aware today that I think the Treaty Days are also happening for one of the First Nation, and North Country Fair, I think, is probably that weekend too. But there was a lot of people last year from all over the place, so hopefully that will happen again. But the weather's got to cooperate. It really makes the day, or the days, I should say. Anyone further questions? Councillor Good, then Councillor Clark.
The only thing I'd say is last year was one of the most fun days I had all year in downtown Peace River. It was more smiles, more laughter, more fun, more information, more things to do. grandkids were there. I mean, it's a phenomenal event for everybody in this community. I really have to commend you guys. Not only for this, what you're doing with this, but all the other efforts you're putting into our community. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Last year we did give you a very specific amount, and we have a specific amount this year too. $9,480 is what we are requesting, intended to cover bouncy castle, axe throwing, and face painting.
Thank you very much, and I noticed that you used the new form as well, so that's very helpful in that aspect. Councillor Carr and Councillor Shannon.
Are you guys going to have the chainsaw carving again this year?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, we heard,
he's going to make us a 4-foot Davis. We're hoping to auction it off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we thought it'd be kind of cool because we decorate our 12-foot Davis at the park.
yeah, and it really, like last year, we had to sell the event to lots of people. Like food trucks, for example, it was a challenge. Because they, especially if they're coming from Grand Prairie, they're coming, they don't wanna show up and have you have 15 people at the event, that's not a great weekend for them. So we didn't have to sell it to anybody this year.
We've had lots of people reach out,
yeah.
food trucks that have contacted us from out of town. I got one today I have to reach out to, so.
I think we had 4 or 5 last year at different parts of the weekend. I think we're looking at probably double that.
Yeah.
And it was half the work, just because it's building on itself.
Well, it takes a lot of volunteers for these things too. Any further, Councillor Shannon?
Where are you having are you gonna have a beer garden and band all in one kind of thing like you did last time in one concentrated area again?
For the block party? Yeah, it'll be like the same layout as last year, where 101 and 101 meet. Yeah.
We're hoping the Legion will push their outside beer gardens up a little, like just expand them, but I think they were at capacity last year too, so.
And we have a bigger stage this year as well.
Thanks to
Thanks to
the
Felix.
Jet Boat Association.
Very good. Well, we're all looking forward to it, and we're supposed to wear plaid again.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, got that in mind. Any further questions, comments? Okay, well, good luck with the
Thank
days
you.
and, yeah, good weather.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the Peace River Scottish Society. Good evening.
Hi. I am Carrie Emery. I'm the dance instructor, a director, and a parent with the Peace River Scottish Society. We've been in operation. This is our 45th year. Our dance group was started first with Murray Cook, Joan Holt, and Libby Sandercock were the 3 founders of our club. From there, we grew. And anyway, what we've requested for a grant money is for a dance competition that we held last year, and we're going forward with this year. We've done the dance competition in the past. We ran it for 10 years, from 1995 to 2005. We used to do it in Riverfront Park outside as an event, but we've decided going forward, we're doing an inside event because we're always weather dependent on that. The competition for dancers extends to any people outside, like throughout Canada, but we see more people in Alberta. There is the north part of BC. We see Fort St. John come. Fox Creek has a lot of dancers. Some in Grand Prairie. There is some dancers in Yellowknife as well that we extend the invitation to. We have an Alberta champion dancer that actually lives out in Manning as well, that did attend last year. So our hope is that because we just got back into operation last year, that we get more numbers this year. And this is good for our kids because we do have many kids that some of the families can't afford to
get out to the cities to let their dancers compete. So they get to have that experience when we bring it here. We bring judges in from either in Alberta, from there or in BC. It just depends. And like if they have dancers coming to compete, then they can't judge. And we are looking at trying to bring a piper in as well. And we did have a reach out with, for entertainment as part of a pipe band that is looking to come and do some entertainment at our lunch break as well. The other thing, we just find that this is good for the kids' self-confidence, good for, like, we encourage it, a lot of physical activity, and of course, like with the focus on mental health with our young people. These events we find are good. As a teacher, I've found that throughout the years. And the other thing is our club does extend even to kids that have neurodiverse diagnosis as well, to try to teach them to cope with some things and to have a little bit of that experience as well. This is our club president, Lori Cooper. Sorry, I should have let her introduce herself. I got a little bit ahead of myself. We're looking for $5,000 to help cover the cost of our judges, pipers, and then maybe part of our venue if it works out. If there's any questions.
So I noticed it says there's 75 competitions, or is it 75
Dancers.
dancers? Okay.
Yes.
That's quite a few again as well.
Yeah, well, so we used to in the past when we had one of our last competitions, we had, I think, 95, like in 2005. So we're hoping to build that back up, but just like with everything, COVID has taken a while to get things back on track.
Counselors, questions? Well, dancing is a good skill to have, and I admire those young people and leap all over the place, frankly. So good luck with your competition, and it's in May 24th.
Yes.
Okay. Good luck with that. And I should mention that the process for these grants to organizations is that we have presentations today, and admin will give us some input, and at another meeting, we actually make the decisions. So that's kind of the way it works. And so thank you.
Thank you.
And good luck with your competition as well.
Thank you.
So next we have the Peace Playland Association.
Great. I am Megan Bartman. I'm a director with the Peace Playland Board. So we're just here to seek funding for a revitalization project. So Playland has existed since I think 1986 in some form or other. I think more as a toy library back in the day. And now we have a toy library and an indoor activity center that hasn't really been updated in at least a good 7 to 10 years kind of thing. So we're looking, sorry. So we're looking at updating it and sourcing some new bigger play structures and new toys and everything. As far as I'm aware, we're the only kind of facility like this north of Grand Prairie. We mainly are geared towards 0 to 6-year-olds. And while there is the FRN in town, and there's a few other play areas, I think Playland's kind of the biggest community supported one I find. I know with my first, who's 2 years old now, it's hard when you're a young mom and to leave the house and find people to talk to, I guess, and not get depressed. So we really support that and kind of have a big community going on. We are involved with the library. Sagatawa has been fairly involved the last little bit, and then the FRN as well, just to try and kind of keep everyone linked together in town. So we're hoping that if, we can kind of upgrade some of our things, increase membership, increase sponsorship from more like local community partners, which will kind of allow more families to join in and become involved. We're pretty affordable as well, which is nice to see. It's only $8 for a drop-in membership for 3 kids. So like the whole family is $8. You're not paying $8 per child or something, which the pool or gymnastics or things like that can be expensive. And yeah, we can increase membership and increase usage, hopefully have more kind of days sponsored by community members, like Sagatawa recently sponsored people. And we had 25 families, I think, show up. Yeah, last year we had 3,800 families kind of throughout the year, and 2/3 of that is from Peace River, so it is, the vast majority is ratepayers from the town.
So that location has worked well for you?
I think so, yeah. I haven't been on the board for too long, and I wasn't on the board when it was the Bell Center. But I think even just having Java right there and being more downtown or more visible, it's kind of more involved, I guess, with everything else that's going on, or more walkable. And with the little mall markets and things over the winter, people would go to the market and then they come to Playland to visit. So, yeah.
Good. Counselors, any questions? Counselor Scanlon?
I'm assuming this is gonna be like a multi-year process. You're not gonna get all the things in one go.
No, I think it'll be, like, I mean, we have big dreams of hopefully. You think like the old McDonald's play centers, right? Where you have like the 2-tier jungle gyms, and like something like that would be ideal eventually, but we're talking $100,000 for something like that in a bigger location. So for now, we're just kind of slowly increasing. The more members, then we'll have more funding, even just fund memberships.
Yeah. And the Community Services Board runs the FCSS grants, and so this sounds like a really good fit for that too. So as
Okay.
you're kind of, don't miss out on that next year,
Okay,
because it's a once-a-year thing.
yeah,
And it's a pretty decent sized pot.
yeah.
You know, so, it's not,
No, we can't do capital with that grant.
we can't do capital with that
Sorry.
grant.
Okay.
I've chatted with them already, Counselor.
Oh, sorry. Sounded like a really good idea.
It was,
We're trying.
Yeah.
We've been, scouring all kinds. We've already met with Northern
Well, don't
Sunrise.
spend some money on something else and
Yeah.
apply for that, and then you've got more for your.
There we go.
Okay, well, good luck with your project, and hopefully at least some of it can start to happen this year, and
I hope so.
yeah.
Sagatawa we got one play center that actually got delivered today, so we're really excited about that.
Yeah, well, that's great. Any further comments, questions? Counselor Shannon, you have a comment? Okay,
All right,
well, good luck, and take care of you and your little ones.
thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Jet Boat Racing Canada, Western Zones Racing Association. It's almost the longest title.
Yeah, it's been, these are 2 titles that I got put together. Good evening, everybody. Felix Bergeron, representing Jet Boat Racing Canada and the Peace River Boating Association. So this year, the date of our event has changed, and the reason for the change is because it's the World Championships, and the World Championships involves us, Grand Prairie and Taylor. And unfortunately, they don't have the long season like we do to race on the rivers. So it kind of confines us to a certain weekend. This is the weekend that we ended up with to make sure that the water level was gonna be okay to race on the rivers. So, of course, we talked with Rotaract, went back and forth and make sure that it was something that they were gonna be able to do with us, because we wanted to make sure that we had them involved again, because it was such a success last year. We estimate there was probably 4,000 or 5,000 people that visited the event in 2 days. So it was great to have them on board. So we weren't gonna miss out their partnership this year again. So last year and the year before, our race attendance was a little bit lower than the previous years that prior to COVID, I guess. And so we had 16 teams last year and 17 the year before. This year, because of the Worlds, we're anticipating about 40 teams. We already have 27 teams registered, and it's every couple of days we get a new team. So we should see about 40 teams, which should bring about 400 people, just as far as racers go, not spectators, but immediate crews. So it's a big economic impact for the community. The opening ceremonies will be in Peace River, so we'll be at the block party. We're gonna have a team introduction, sing the national anthem for Canada, the US, Mexico, and New Zealand, and a few other things going on there with the boats in the show and shine at I forget the name of the park now. Centennial Park, sorry. So that's our event, and then 2 days of racing and a bunch of activities at Riverfront Park for the rest of the family as well. So, yeah, weather dependent, everything goes well. Basically, Peace River Boating Associations, we spend money, or we use the money, the profits from the race to enhance the boat launches in town and regular maintenance and long-term improvements. So that's where the money goes to from the boating association. Last year, the budget for the race was $90,000, and we made a profit of $20,000. So at the end of the day, we made a little bit of money, and that money can be spent back onto the boat launches from stuff like gravel and dock improvements. And over the last 2 years, we spent quite a bit of money on that dock at Lower West Peace. So that's where our funds go to. This year, we're looking for $10,000 from the town. We have approached also the counties and the surrounding communities that support us ongoing, and a lot of local businesses also support us. So our budget for the Worlds is $500,000. It's substantially more than just a weekend race, because the last 10 days will be 2 days in Peace River, well, 3 days, that's actually, sorry, 4 days in Peace River, because on Thursday is the team meet and greet, and there's some registration, and there's some tests that the drivers and navigators have to go through. And then Friday is the road rack, the block party, and the show and shine and parade. Then Saturday and Sunday racing, and then we move on the day off on Monday, then 2 days of racing in Grand Prairie, then 2 days off, and then 2 days of racing together, British Columbia. So it's a 10-day event. I did put through a little presentation. So I just, oops, which page I'm not here, back to the page. Okay. So who is Jumbo Racing Canada? Peace River Country River Rats. So that's the Taylor Fort St. John group and the Wapiti River Race Club from Grand Prairie and us. The dates we've gone through already. And there's a short little video here. Is the volume on as well?
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Following an exhilarating day one of racing at the Bonnet Energy Corp.
I can take over.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Okay. Oops. So anticipated attendance of 7,000 people, at least 35 teams we have on here. We're thinking about 40 now, 18 out of country teams, anticipating at least 1,750 overnight stays. This is our website for GBRC. I won't go through it. I've taken enough of you guys' time on that. You can go through the website if you guys want to. That's about it for the races. I just have a couple more quick little items. I'm looking for a letter from the town of Peace River in support to the Peace River Boating Association that we can forward to our MP. We have a letter from our MLA right now supporting the Peace River Boating Association. We're just trying to maybe put a little bit of pressure on the federal government here to move the North End Boat Launch project along. It's been like 4 years and we don't hear a whole bunch from them. I'd just like to see if we can lean on them a little bit, and I think a letter of support from the town and also a letter of support from the Peace River Fire Department would go hand in hand with our letter that we already have from our MLA, that we could forward that on to Mr. Gerson, maybe, or whoever is gonna sit in that chair, and to see if we can move this project along a little bit better.
So if you could, send an email with the specifics to, probably the CAO would be good.
Okay.
And we can go from there.
Okay.
Figure out stuff.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time and your consideration and your continued support.
Well, good luck again, and it's gonna be great to see all these people come to town and celebrate our valley and the river. And how much, what's the minimum water depth that these boats need? Some of them.
We're pretty lucky in Peace River, the way the rivers are. We haven't seen a river too low to race on
Okay.
ever. So I think our river suits the needs of boat racing. So we might have to change our course that we have planned, but there's alternate areas that we can run in. So we won't see a river, well, I shouldn't say, well, we shouldn't see a river level that would cancel our event, let's say.
Well, that's good to know.
What's the theoretical minimum?
Sorry?
Sorry.
I'm just trying to help him answer your question. What's the theoretical minimum depth?
6 inches of water is sufficient to race in. So
Okay, well, we should have at least that.
let's hope so, yeah.
Counselors, any further questions? Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Bergeron, and good luck, and thank you for all the work on the launches and things like that as well.
My pleasure.
Okay, next, do we have the Peace River and District Chamber of Commerce on Ms. Parsons?
Apologies, they notified this morning that they would no longer be able to attend.
Okay. How about Peace River Minor Hockey Association U18C?
Never did receive what confirmation, so they might not have been able to attend.
Okay, so that is the end of our presentations for tonight. So thank you, those of you who came and presented. And as I mentioned before, we will have a further discussion at a regular council meeting, and admin will be bringing us some more information at that time as well, and then we make the decision. I anticipate that would be within the month, or maybe the next meeting. Okay, so thank you. And if you feel like staying for the rest of the meeting, you could do that as well. It's bound to be enlightening, that's all I can say.
Thank you, have a good night.
Okay, admin, would you advise us to carry on with this meeting or go back to the other one? I'm thinking of staff time. If there's a reason to do one or the other.
I think we're set. We might as well continue on. Thank you.
Okay, so next we have review of bylaws and policies. And first up, we have a proposed non-residential property tax incentive bylaw with CAO Miller.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, this request for direction is being brought forward so we could gauge, or we're seeking council's interest in a bylaw, offering a bylaw for property tax incentives to stimulate the non-residential construction or redevelopment of some properties. So, some communities in Alberta do offer tax incentives. And some members of council and members of the Economic Development Committee have been seeking such a bylaw. And so before we move forward too far down the path of figuring out a bylaw and coming up with some variables within that bylaw, we wanted to gauge the interest of council, that we're on the right path, there is interest, and then if so, we would move it forward to the ECDEV committee for discussions and then bring it back to council. If council is interested at that time, if there was any absolutes that you know, were a no-go, if we could, hear of those at the time too, so we can bring that information back to the committee when we discuss it.
Councillors, any thoughts? Councillor Carr, Councillor Good?
I'm just curious, why is it not including residential along with the commercial? With the lack of housing and so on, would we not be wise to include that?
Sorry, Your Worship, we're gonna do a residential next, we were starting with the commercial first.
Okay.
Well, I think it's certainly worth the discussion. Been very serious. We want development. I think we have to work with our business people to do that. There are two schools of thought on it, and that's fair to have that discussion, but I think the idea of, I've seen in the past where, property that's undeveloped is worth X amount of dollars, and once it's developed, it's worth massively more than that in property tax. So you subsidize or write it off for 4 or 5 years and you have 50 years of revenue generation from it. I'll make that deal all day long. Because if you don't do something about it, you don't get the growth, you don't have the development, you don't have the property tax revenue. To me, it's not a difficult concept to invest, to give a person a hand to come along and help support the community and start a business that employs people, whatever development it is in business. I think it's a good thing to look at. So I'm absolutely in favor of it.
Councillor Shannon?
I'm obviously in favor of it. I think that, it's timely that we move on it. We're behind, everyone knows that. So I think, I can't wait for the residential one as well. I think, both of them together will really help with all kinds of development, both, in our outlying areas and right in downtown.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I suppose you're looking for everyone's opinion, or you wouldn't have asked, so yeah, I would agree. I would like to make it something to the degree where it's enough to move someone out of the old no into the go, as opposed to being so small that you're just providing a discount to someone that was going to do it anyways. I'm not sure where that number lies and what kind of strategic thinking you'd have to come up with to get there, but definitely something to the point of moving things across the line for somebody so substantial enough to get that done, as opposed to just, well, everyone was gonna do it anyways because it made sense for them, and now we're just discounting something that they would have already done.
So, I just have a, question on 8 and 9 of, the proposed bylaw, I guess it is. Those numbers in there, 2.5% of the eligible capital costs, something about a maximum 80% exemption. The 2.5% and the 80%, did somebody else use those numbers, or how do they come into being?
Yeah, these were examples and we do need to work through them, and that's why they're highlighted, because I don't even know what that would mean yet. But that's the kind of stuff we'll take back to the ECDEV committee and work through.
Yes, because I too have heard comments, as Dawn has indicated, there's a plus and minus, but if you did not have any taxes on the thing to begin with, getting taxes eventually would be the aim. I like the idea of residential being part of, if not this one, then the next one. So it looks like, well, actually, Deputy Mayor Boychuk, do you have any comment?
Oh, I fully support this idea. It's a good idea.
It's one way of not increasing taxes to everyone else. And same thing, making it good for whoever's doing the particular capital, right? So this would go back to, well, Economic Development Committee would have a look at it. Then comes back here eventually. And if this was to go ahead, it could be as close as next year.
Sorry, it could go into effect as soon as it's given third reading. Okay. So the academic committee has not yet seen it. We wanted council support before we brought it there, so it'll be on their agenda, their next agenda for discussion.
I guess the one thing I would like to see as part of this is an example. If somebody has a building that's, I don't know, worth 500,000 and they're going to add 1 million to it, what does this really do over the 4-year term or whatever the term is? Just to know the numbers. So anything further, councillors? Do we want to do this maybe somebody would move us along on a motion here? Do that. Okay, Councillor Shannon?
I move that council direct administration to refer the draft EDC bylaw and terms of reference to the Economic Development Committee for further comment and review, and then return both items to future council meeting for formal consideration by council.
One ahead of this.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
Move that council indicate their support for the continued development of the proposed industrial and commercial tax incentive bylaw.
One question for you.
Yeah, by all means.
The question I have for administration before we proceed is, would it be that difficult to bring the recommendation to council with the commercial and the residential together and after splitting them up? Does it really add a whole lot more work? Because if it doesn't add a whole lot more work, then I wouldn't see why you didn't put because then it's just calculations difference.
And honestly, I haven't done any research at all on residential. Oh, your worship, sorry.
Director Fisher.
I was also gonna put in, like, we still, when we bring it forward the next time, and we have a more polished draft, we would like to have some processes to support that worked out before the bylaw is implemented, and we're scrambling to figure out how administratively we're going to implement everything. So, we still have a lot of work to do to bring forward this piece, and the residential piece is 2,000 more properties that this could apply to. So, in terms of workload, I think the low hanging fruit for the organization is probably the commercial and industrial stuff. So we can work through that, and then not open up Pandora's box before we're ready to. Personally, that's the way I would approach that.
Well said.
Okay.
Okay, any further comments, questions? Everybody's aware of, or clear on the motion? All those in favor of the motion?
In favor.
It is carried. Thank you. So next up, Ms. Moni, the draft Economic Development Committee bylaw in terms of reference.
So before you, we have a draft bylaw in terms of reference for the Economic Development Committee. When we established the EDC in 2022, we missed a step. The MGA does require that all committees of council are established by bylaw. That did not happen. So we've realized our error and are correcting it. So we have an updated version, we have a draft bylaw and an updated version of the terms of reference. The intention here is to also recognize where we are as an organization today compared to where we were when we started this in 2022. So our goal is to clarify the role of the committee, align the role of the committee with that of similar committees of council, such as the Community Services Board, reflect the new staff resources that we are very happy to have dedicated to economic development, and balance receiving timely recommendations from the EDC with providing enough time for staff to complete the work. We have brought this to the EDC for their review as well. They received the draft at their February meeting, and we'll bring it again to them at their April meeting, which happens later this month. We did have some initial discussion about some of the changes, but certainly didn't get into all of them. But one that we did have a discussion about at the EDC at the last meeting was a change related to the number of meetings a year. The current terms of reference, I believe, established a minimum of 8. The new draft establishes a minimum of 4, and we also presented a proposed meeting schedule to the EDC that is setting 5 meetings a year. The majority of the committee was comfortable with that, although there was some desire to continue to meet more often. Related to this and very timely, the rural or RMA has released a new rural economic development toolkit, and included in that toolkit is a draft bylaw with some content from the RMA for consideration. So there's definitely some overlapping content. So we've provided to council the draft bylaw as well as the draft updated terms of reference and the existing terms of reference that we've been operating under. And then obviously the RMA template bylaw. So we are just bringing it to council to see if you have any particular direction for staff as we are preparing this bylaw in terms of reference to bring forward for adoption and approval from council going forward. A couple of changes that I would highlight: the number of committee members. The way it was drafted previously included having a town staff person as a member of the committee. Formally, that's been the case, but functionally, that's not how we've operated. So we've updated the bylaw to have 6 committee members rather than that one included from administration. We also are making sure that all of the committee members are actually appointed by council. Today, we have a chamber member, and they get appointed by the chamber. Certainly, the chamber can recommend a member, but it makes sense that a committee of council has membership that is appointed by council. So it was a little bit odd for us to give away that authority when it is council's committee. And then definitely the terms of reference, or the existing one does have allowing us to, or making us meet every 8 times a year, and now we're dropping it to 4. The intention is to give us a little bit more time to do some work, create a month in between each meeting where we have a bit of breathing room to get some work done at the administrative level and bring that back so that we are bringing substance forward to the committee on a regular basis. And one other change is dropping the amount of time that's required to call a meeting. So while we are setting a minimum meeting number of 4, we've just allowed ourselves to call an additional meeting within 24 hours. If there is something emergent that we want to react to quickly, we have the ability to do that in a timely manner. So I can take any questions and obviously would appreciate feedback from all of council.
So the committee basically operates under the same procedural bylaw and essentially code of conduct that council operates under. Yeah, and does it someplace in here have that council is the one that sets the strategic plan that this committee carries its duty under somehow?
Not exactly in so many words. I believe right now, if you look on page 505 of the committee, oh, sorry, 4, very end of page 4, it talks about the committee advising on an annual economic development work plan and providing reports, but not setting the work plan.
So advises council, is that the intent, or is it advising?
I think the intention would be that
an advisory committee,
that the administration would bring forward a work plan that would tie into council's strategic plan, and then the committee would advise on that basis. And I will look to CAO Miller to make sure that
I believe that's right. Perhaps not so much of a concern for this type of committee, but having an even number of members is sometimes not a good thing for committees, but this is not a council, it's a committee, so put it that way, I guess. The 2-year terms, that seemed reasonable to, or maybe I got the wrong one, I don't know here. Is it 2-year terms, the appointments? Yeah.
they are with the option of extending for another 2-year term. But not further than that, with the intention that there's some turnover and different perspectives that come forward to the committee over time.
Councilors, any further thoughts? Oh, Councilor Carr? Oh, sorry, Councilor Good, sorry.
I know we look alike.
Yeah, we depends on the light.
Only to have 2 and 2 as far as the terms, I didn't Let's see if it was staggered that way, because obviously you want to keep some people that are there with the new people coming in, so.
Yeah, and when we started the committee, we had an initial term. Two, or some members were appointed to 2 and some were appointed to 3, specifically to have a staggered start,
Right.
so that we would hopefully maintain that.
Just make
certain
sure
level of
that's sort of
expertise.
incorporated in there. I'm a half camper, thanks.
Okay, and if both chair and vice chair are not available, then do they elect another person from within, like we would? Yeah,
I think that would follow the procedural bylaw.
so all 4 of the others have to be there, or too bad it's not a meeting. Yeah. Anything further? Well, thank you, and it's nice to, I guess, get the bylaw in place that we should have. And it also, the committee's been going on for a couple of years now, so it's a good time to, look at the terms of reference and refresh them according to how the committee developed and what it actually does, sort of thing. So that, I think, will be reflected in the new terms of reference, I guess. So, anything further? Okay, Councillor Shannon, do you want to make this motion?
I already made it, I might as well make it a second time. Move the council direct administration to refer the draft EDC bylaw in terms of reference to the Economic Development Committee for further comment and review, and then return both items to a future council meeting for formal consideration by council.
Thank you.
I've heard that before.
Any further discussion? Okay, everybody's clear on the motion. All those in favor?
In favor?
It is carried. Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Modi, for all the work on getting that to us. Okay, we do not have any unfinished business. However, for new business, we have Protective Services, the March 2025 call report with Director Crest.
Good evening, your worship and councilors, ladies and gentlemen. So this is my report for March 2025. You see a report, we did increase dramatically in the month of March. We went from an average of 60 calls to 145 calls in the month of March. So we've dramatically, it's all the way from unsightly to trespass in traffic. Our sidewalks increased a lot because of the ice. It was an icy situation, so Michael did a lot on that one. We did a lot of routine patrols in different areas where we were having issues. 12 public complaints, 1 loitering, 1 land use, or 2 land use bylaws, 1 fire, assist RCMP and assist public. Stop helping people that are stuck or trapped or helping them out. We did 10 traffic or provincial tickets, 35 town tickets and 2 warnings, a total of 45 tickets issued that month. Year to date is we are now at 283 files since the middle of January. We have a new CPO hired. His name is Rick White. He started, he's just right now acting as bylaw until his appointment comes in. It's been sent off to the Solgen. So he'll be getting that hopefully within the next 3 weeks. We also, Officer Austin and I tore down 5 encampments within the town in the last 3 weeks. So we tore 5 camps down and dismantled them. And that's it. Any questions?
So in these encampments, is it pretty well the same individuals that are moving from here to there, your encampment, or different people?
There was 3 behind Sagatawa, 1 up by 12-foot Davis, and then another one on the riverbank that we tore down. So the one behind Sagatawa, they kept jumping from property to property, and then finally we issued citations, and then they stopped setting up. So they've dismantled altogether.
Counselors, questions? Well, we know that spring usually brings new bodies to town. And unfortunately, some of them end up being ones that we see in these situations. So it's good to have another person coming on board to help out. I don't know, is there any, have people taken advantage of being moved to a different community?
So we've been talking with the individuals that are here, and a lot of them are waiting to get into treatment, so I've offered even to take them to Grand Prairie to the treatment center if they have a booking, a listing, they got a doctor's note to go. I said, either we do it or get Segatawa to do it, to get them to the help they want, so I'll be having a meeting next week with Segatawa, and we'll see what we can come up with together.
I'll coordinate things. Okay, thank you. Counselor Scanlon.
It sounds like the library could use your number on speed dial there, hey?
Actually, I met with her last week and we come up with a strategic plan on maintaining and watching that. So on the weekends, if I'm not here, they call the RCMP first. If they don't get the RCMP, then they call me. Through the week, they'll call me. If it's a weapons related, they'll call RCMP right away.
And maybe you could just refresh everybody's memory for when they should call you and when they should call RCMP.
So any weapon charge, anything criminal code should be RCMP right away. Through the day, if it is trespassing, loitering, public and talks, that kind of stuff, then we can help them move along and educate them. And then we can step in. If the RCMP is not available, then all we do is for criminal code, we just watch and take notes.
Thank you. Our Deputy Mayor Boychuk, any questions?
Nope, not at this time.
Councilors here? Well, thank you, Mr. Kress. These monthly reports are interesting, and I'm sure there'll be some trends developing that highlight in more ways than one, shall we say. So thank you. And if someone could please make a motion with respect to that information. Councilor Good.
I'll move that we accept the report as information.
Thank you very much. Everybody's aware of the motion? All those in favor?
In favor.
It is carried. Thank you. Next up, we have Director Bell with a briefing note on special event planning.
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. This is just an opportunity as we move into the summer event season to inform council of our event process support and also some enhancements that we're looking at doing immediately, and then we are looking at further enhancements in the future to assist our community groups in their processes to make things as smooth as possible for those organizations. In preparation for this upcoming season, we reflected back in 2024 of what we have done in the past. We have met with a number of organizations preemptively to assist them in moving through their permitting process, trying to understand how to get a road closure, what are the requirements for porta potties, whatever the situation or requests are. 2024, we met with 3 organizations with the intent of 3 large events. Only 2 of them occurred, the Midway and the Rotaract event. Peace River Event Society chose not to proceed with their event, and I believe they've actually collapsed as an organization, which is unfortunate. So in advance of the 2025 season, we preemptively, once Rotaract announced that their dates of when they were proposing the event along with the jet boat races, we met with both organizations as a collective and had a very productive conversation. We did a reflection back on what worked, what didn't work from their event previously. There was very little either party had to bring forward on that front, and then we focused on what they were requiring from the town and how we could assist them moving forward for their 2025 event. As they've noted in both of the presentations this evening, there's some minor adjustments to their events, some expansions, some changes. One of the biggest additions is the parade on the Friday night. So there was lots of coordination of how to do road closures, this main 101st Street closure, in addition to parade closures and coordinating where and when and how to ensure we don't trap people in the downtown. We want to make sure people can get into the downtown to watch the parade, but also make sure that flow of traffic still works and all that good stuff. So lots of very good productive conversation of identifying any issues that could arise and mitigating those before their event and assisting them to make sure that works smoothly as possible. We also discussed permitting it as I'm not sure everyone is aware. There are permits that are required for stages over 2 feet. Tents over 10 by 10 require permitting, building permits. Because of incidents in other communities, there's been a significant change to the Alberta Building Code and requirements to keep the users and volunteers and participants safe. And unfortunately, there has been very severe incidents in the past at very large events where deaths have occurred to collapse and wind events and those types of situations. So we do ensure that everyone has their permitting and everything is done safely into those standards for those reasons. Some minor requests, additional requests for, we need more recycle bins at Riverfront Park when things get busy. So we're making sure that more bins are placed out, and park staff, as part of their normal level of service that we provide when there's a rental down at Riverfront Park, is staff clean the washrooms throughout that event, but we'll be adding more times that they'll come through to deal with additional garbage, especially as their event grows. We might need to do a little bit more during their events. And then just as a note, we are going to be doing some promotions to encourage people where to park downtown. This is always a bit of a snafu for event planners. The feedback might be, well, there's nowhere to park. We have a lot of parking. It means for some folks, though, a bit of a walk. So the group has identified a more inclusive and accessible parking identified right near Riverfront Park, but we're also going to promote all the other parking locations and parking areas within the downtown that are still extremely walkable to Riverfront Park or 101st Street or whichever event they're wanting to participate in. And then we're also ensuring we have, last year we put up a large banner downtown on the site across from the bank, the unnamed burned location that we don't like to identify, but has a nice fence. We're putting up that banner with updated dates and QR codes to help encourage people to start getting in the mood. So we're hoping to have that up by May 1st to get people thinking about putting plaid on their businesses and supporting the organization in this major event. And then just lastly, as noted at the beginning of this, we are looking to improve and enhance and streamline our processes. So we are placing information around special event planning. We're creating a section on our website with all the links that we've included in this document for you this evening. And this has been passed on to the groups over the last number of years. But now we'd like to get it on our website so it can possibly help groups at other events, not just very, very large events. This information is very useful in all sizes of events. And we are looking at some sort of one-stop shop concept, because right now you need building permits, you need road closure permits, you need a park permit. Things can get very complex, and we recognize that that system of different accessing different departments can be confusing. So we're looking internally of how we can streamline that to allow a little bit more of a initial front facing one spot. And then internally, we deal with the coordination behind the scenes, so our organizations don't necessarily have to do that. So we've started those internal conversations, but won't be able to really roll anything out in a solid format until winter next year in preparation for the summer special event season. So we've got a little bit of work to do on that, but it's kind of an exciting way to help our community groups make things a little smoother for them.
Sounds very good. Because I know that there are, like you say, a lot of details and the devil's in the details sort of thing, especially if it's your first or second go around at things. And even if it's longer than that, codes change and stuff, and you're not necessarily watching for that all the time, sort of thing.
Correct.
Well,
Especially the emergency planning is not necessarily new, but it is a little bit, people think of it only from sort of that large 5,000 plus capacity. It was a very much a requirement when Peace Fest was hosted at 12th Davis Events Park because of the nature of the location. But emergencies can happen at any location in any format, lost children, a major weather event. Things happen very quickly, and if a group hasn't come up with their emergency plan, it can get very messy quickly. So this particular event, last year, Rotaract did an excellent job putting together an emergency plan, including site plans and emergency contacts and the like. So fire department's been very helpful in assisting organizations to develop those plans. So we're just continuing to refine our processes and help groups be successful in their vision also.
well, it's good to have those talks up front.
Yes.
Learning curve. Councillor Shannon.
I love the idea of being proactive. I think that's beats part of the things happening down the road. Is this gonna be something you do every year then, right before event season, or is it gonna be kind of
We've typically done it with user groups, especially the large events, for quite a number of years. We just used last year as sort of our example for this report, but we have typically done this with multiple groups ahead of time. Because we have found that communication up front is critical, ensuring things are smooth for all parties involved the day of or the day after the event. There's still little things that occur, and we encourage groups to inform us when that happens, because there's still a communication barrier. We're not necessarily getting the information post-event. We're hearing it through third, fourth parties. So that's why we intend to have at those meetings, okay, what worked last year? What issues did you have? Is there something we missed? Did you ask for something we didn't provide it to you? Whatever the case may be, so that again, we can improve the level of service that we're offering. We don't know unless we know. Can't fix something if we don't know about it. And we're more than happy to ensure that we are responding to these issues, but they need to be brought forward. And not when I'm at the co-op through a fourth person from someone else. It's really great if I can hear it a little more direct from the party or through a member of council is also, if you can direct them our way, that would be excellent.
Any further comments, questions on this matter? Just as an aside, our sidewalk painting policy, have we had more interest this year or not yet?
I'd have to defer that to Director Fisher.
Oh, okay.
Received any sidewalk painting requests to date?
Well, I think we've got one outstanding that was
Yeah.
completed last year.
Good to know. And
Lots of chatter about it. I've seen lots of ideas.
second question, your department, but maybe a little off topic. What is our grants to groups account balance?
For council grants to organizations, your budget for 2025 is 50,000. My intention is to bring a report to the April 15th meeting, the regular meeting, the next regular meeting of the month, 15th. I have the right date. 14th, right? Okay. And the request that of total requests is 40,000 for this first intake, and you have 2 more intakes. So I'll just let that sink in, and then you can, I think you might have some difficult decisions ahead of you this year. You're very popular, so that's a good thing.
Great. Okay, well, there's interest out there.
Yes.
Anything further? Well, thank you, Director Bell, and it's good to see that this initiative on Vince's part, I'm sure it will be well received and well used. Would someone care to make a motion on this matter? Councillor Scammon.
I'll move that council accept the briefing note regarding special event planning for information.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Everybody's clear on the motion. All those in favor?
In favor.
Okay, it is carried. Next up, we have, carbon tax savings. P.A. Miller.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to bring some news to council and the community regarding the savings on our carbon tax. So as you are aware, we have what we can assume to be at the moment a temporary relief on carbon tax. It's been reduced to 0%. And as a result, the 2 primary expenses that we have that are charged carbon tax where we're easily able to identify is our vehicle fuel, which the savings should equate if it remains in place to the end of the year. We spend about 24,000 a year on fuel tax for fuel charges. And then carbon tax on our natural gas. Our broker has advised me that it's anticipated we'll save about $81,000 in carbon tax from April to the end of the year on our natural gas expenses. So it's good news. It's sad news that we have to pay that every year up until now, but it's good news to get a little bit of a relief. And I just want to share that with you.
Well, definitely good news on the budget line. Any questions, P.A. Miller on this one? Okay, Councillor Card, do you want to make a motion with respect to this one? You.
To move that we accept the carbon tax savings report for information.
Thank you. Everybody on the motion? Any questions? All in favor?
In favor.
Great, it is carried. Next up, we have a briefing note on the R&D Enabling Housing Choices Project update. CEO Miller.
Again, thank you, Your Worship. This is just to provide a bit of an update on the Enabling Housing Choice North project. Things are moving along nicely. The project for our community really started in March. And so the internal team has met a couple of times during the month of March. And during that time, we prepared a communication strategy, community engagement strategy, which is attached for your information, where we identified in particular the objectives and who the stakeholders are that we would be hoping to speak with, or the project team, or RDN's team, and also worked on a community survey that will be launched. And I believe it's supposed to be launched today. So I would encourage everybody to look for that survey online, participate, because the information being gathered really, really is important for our community and our housing needs identification.
Thank you. Let's take a quick look over this estimated timeline as well as the stakeholders. Anybody offhand see anything they think is missing there? Okay, and part of this was also when they eventually make their report, part of it is supposed to be, is it not, something about how to get developers to come.
That's one of our objectives, is how do we attract developers? Yes.
Great. Great. So any further questions on this one? Councillor Scammell?
We were just discussing a incentive plan for development, residential development, tax incentive plan. Maybe that could dovetail with this and help keep that from applying to all 2,000 properties or whatever. And potentially make it a little more streamlined.
Any further comments? Well, thank you, Mrs. Miller. And Councillor Deputy Mayor Boychuk, would you care to put forth a motion to accept this for information?
I sure can. I'll put the motion that council accepts a briefing note regarding RDN enabling housing choice project update for info.
Great, thank you. Everybody's clear on the motion? All those in favor?
In favor.
Great, it is carried. Last one, briefing note on the new town hall update with CAO Miller.
Thank you again. I don't have a lot to share at the moment because the early stages things move a little bit slow. But just to provide further updates since we last spoke about it. So just a reminder, it was all cleaned, elevator was serviced. We had a deep clean of the building. We inventoried all of the furniture and whatnot that was left behind. Subsequently, we awarded the RFP for the architectural design services to Barristow and Associates Engineering. They have, we did have our kickoff meeting. They have gone into the building. They've completed all their site inspection and all their measurements of the building. And now they're starting their preliminary design work, particularly matching what works with code. So to design the building with the least cost to align with the code requirements. And Director Fisher was away when I prepared this briefing memo, so I'm not sure if he has anything to add to that.
No, the big ticket item that they're working on right now is a code review. Like CAO Miller said, the codes have obviously changed since that building was constructed, and we're looking at a couple of the areas would be considered a change of use under the building code, specifically the council chamber, because it's an assembly space almost. So they're just going through and figuring out what makes sense from a code perspective and what changes would be necessary to make that and let that happen in the most cost-effective way. Hopefully they can bring forward a couple of options for us to discuss and bring forward to council to show sort of where a new council space and council chambers could be located in the building, what could potentially look like. It's pretty exciting, actually. I saw they've got the existing building kind of all drawn up and drafted. It's always hard to see the drawing be real, but it's one step in the process and it gets me really excited to see it. So.
Great. Any questions on this one? Okay, well, it's exciting to hear that that's moving forward at a pace, I guess. Would Councillor Scammell be prepared to put forward the motion on this one?
Will the council accept the briefing note regarding the new town hall update for information?
Thank you. Everybody's clear on the motion. So all those in favor?
In favor.
It is carried. Great. Okay, are we okay to carry on through reports until closed session and then we'll have a break before closed? Yes. Okay. Reports. The first one is the March 2025 monthly development report. I don't know if anyone wants to speak to this one, but it looks like things are happening. Gail Miller, any particular comments?
Well, sorry.
I didn't know if someone was talking.
No, I don't have any comments, thanks.
Okay, looks good. The next one, North Peace Housing Foundation meeting synopsis of February and March. Councillor Gamahorn is on this one.
Yeah, nothing too earth shattering to report as of yet. Probably biggest thing, we went over some good orientation material prepared by the foundation for members around communication with residents. There's been a few concerns come up. And then, of course, the Delaware Lodge expansion, that is slowly gearing up to full capacity. Slower than we'd like, but it's happening there, so.
There's Delaware.
Man, pardon me, that's in man.
It's been ongoing for a bit.
It has been.
I noticed on the March report, there's a regional needs assessment, and then it talks about strategic board planning. How does the needs assessment filter in there, or is that different?
Yeah, so the needs assessment, just kind of highlights how we are going to plan for our capital growth, and that the board retreat, which is where we will do our yearly strategic plan, unfortunately happens to be the same weekend as our, well, they're calling it the Northern Expo now. I guess we used to call it the trade fair. And so we'll get into the data and the numbers a little bit more there and come up with more of a plan on what that looks like for the foundation in the future. Couple other, I guess, interesting things to highlight are the province still has a bunch of what they call nominal sum properties, or properties that were owned by the province and managed by the housing board, which they are turning over to the housing board to sell. So that process does continue. It's got potential to grow. One thing I will note, two financial items I guess I could note is, number one, we've got our audit passed with flying colors. And number two, the province has been very forthcoming this past year around funds for those community properties to get rehabilitated and fixed up and maintained. That funding has increased, so the province has been very forward thinking around that and has given the board more options, and hopefully that means for us more places that we can get people into.
Good. Any questions of Mr. Scanlon? Okay, thank you. Next up is the Regional Energy Committee meeting of February 13th. And this is one that myself and Councillor Shannon attend. Councillor Shannon, you want to highlight on that one?
That was the time I was driving back from Brampton. I didn't read that.
Okay, I note that questions have been asked about ATCO and transmission lines. In the minutes here, it's reported that ATCO is doing a study on the anticipated areas of where transmission lines may be, should be, and should be complete by the end of March. I don't know about the timeline, but I do know they're doing the study. Any questions on that one? Okay, next up, we have the Peace River Community Services Board meeting, Councillor Scanlon.
So the big item at that meeting was our FCSS grants, which I incorrectly alluded to earlier in terms of their efficacy and application. My apologies, and thank you, Director Bell, for keeping me on the straight and narrow. I do appreciate it. I wander off from time to time. So we had 3 groups apply. Has news been delivered to those groups and everything? Nope. So we've got some news for some groups, and that I will have to keep under my hat for now.
Good. I noticed there's, and it's been mentioned at the seniors supper as well, a community cleanup program. That seems to be well accepted. People work for 2 hours cleaning up and perhaps get $200 for their club or something.
Yeah, so this is the second year that that program has been in place. I suppose if we want more details on it, Ms. Bell would be the better person. It's been refined, the policy's been refined, and its role has been refined again after, of course, being done the first time, and so it can be more effective. And there seems to be, at least from what I can tell on social media, a very good uptake and interest in that program.
Great. And I noticed another item is the handy bus service review. Is information to be forthcoming on that one, or?
Yeah, I believe that item will be coming forward to council. The board did have opinions and feelings about that particular item there that I think would fit better if they came forward with the briefing note and everything that Director Bell, I'm sure, will be providing with.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions, Mr. Scanlon? Okay, next up, we have the the March 2025 Community Rail Advocacy Alliance Monthly Roundup, which if you've got very good eyesight, you can squint at if it's on paper. Basically, this is an alliance of about 20 to 30 municipalities around northwestern Alberta that is constantly advocating both with CN and with the federal and provincial governments to a certain extent, but the federal government for sure, about things like rail lines upkeep, things like providing adequate numbers of cars. When they say they're gonna send the number of cars, well, do they send them? There's sometimes issues there. That was that one. RCMP Regional Advisory Committee. And Mr. Ford is on this one, but it looks like Mr. Cameron might have attended this one.
I did attend this one. It's been, yeah. What's the agenda, aren't I? Lots of discussion, of course, around current security concerns within the town of Peace River. In particular, and so I was able to give updates on the advisory board, some of the, what are we calling it now? The board that we're supposed to be forming, the municipal policing committee, yeah. So just that, the amount that we're still kind of in the dark around that, a little bit, but hopefully more information to come up from province, even though we're supposed to have done it by now. There were some questions on the upcoming notice of motion, so we had some discussion sort of around potential RCMP changes, which were announced in the future. And
Yes, today the minister was talking about, I didn't catch the full thing, but yes, changes seem to be in the mindset of the province for sure. Okay, and I noticed that in the attendance, you're both absent and there, so you should make up your mind.
don't take the minutes.
There you go. Whenever you approve it. Any further questions on that one? Okay, then, would someone move that council accept reports 9-1 through 9-6 for information? Councilor Good, so moves. Was that? All those in favor? Great.
In favor.
Okay, thank you. Next up, key communication items. So what would we put forward from this meeting? Lots of grants to organizations applications. Land use bylaw amendment. Others? How about the non-residential tax incentive, maybe?
How about the pending bylaw for tax breaks for development?
Okay. Got that one. Economic Development Committee bylaw in terms of reference, and anything under new business. We've got several of them that could all be put forward, I think.
Like, we're, kind of, proactive event planning. I think that one deserves to be mentioned, because I think that's a pretty important one going to be coming up. We're gonna have lots of events.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for that. And now I would propose that we have a 10-minute break. Would that do? And then we'll come back, finish off this meeting if possible, and then go to the other, or how?
I was just going to suggest that we let the online community know that the live stream won't be resuming after the recess, because it'll just be closed session.
Okay, so we'll be in closed session when we come back, so the online people will not be in the closed session. Okay, so we're back here at 7:17.
Did we have comments from the public? That's at the beginning.
We had
I'm not sure at the beginning on the.
GNP. Okay.
Sorry, Ted.
7:17.
Sorry, Ted.
I think he
For
was
what?
here for that.